Hey, this is Jim from His Nature Farm. I want to welcome you back to what I think is a practical video about solar panels and the winter. Remember, we are here on our homestead with our family, building our own house and everything. But today I want to talk to you about these solar panels because this is a special and magical day. Well, not so much to me, but it is a special day that it is the winter solstice. What does that mean? Well, it's basically December 20th, 21st, and on this day, the sun has its lowest position in the sky. Well, what does that mean for solar panels? Ultimately, what I am curious about was, we know what happens in the summer with our panels, but what happens in the dead of winter? The lowest point where the sun is really low, hanging at a low angle. What type of results do we have on our intake? See, because I know what we bring in during the summer as far as wattage on this situation, the way it's set up. Now, of course, every situation is different. Amount of panels, type of panels, angle of panels, where they're located on your building. But for us, I have a good comparison, and I can help you get an idea of what you can expect on these solar panels. So let's take a look here. I'm going to show you the app real quick and let you take a look at what we're generating right now. All right, we're back. So this is the app for EG4. It's the mobile app. Now, by the way, I'm going to give you guys a wonderful review, and I'm going to take you step by step in a future episode on the actual online web version of this app, which is really good. I think someone needs to go over it detail by detail. We're going to do that in a future episode. But in this episode, particularly just want to show you this app that you're looking at right now. This is, as you'll see up there in the top, you'll see the little sun with the solar panel, and it's saying we're bringing in 6,651 watts. 6,651 watts. Our batteries are at 36%, as you can see on the left. Our usage currently right now is 3,867. It is about 40 degrees out here. Last night we were at 27 degrees, okay? And it is about 10 o'clock in the morning. It's about 10:30 in the morning right now, 11 o'clock, and this is about the time that the sun is basically directly in front of us on our south-facing side here of our panels. So as you saw, it was 6,600 watts taking in, clear sky. Now, what does that compare? Well, let me tell you what that compares. In the dead of summer, when it is really humming. Now, I want to be really clear. In the summer, it's not about the heat, it's about the angle of the sun in the sky. So we brought in about 6,600 right now. Typically, on the summer day at about this time, we'll be bringing anywhere from 12 to 14,000 watts on a typical day. So you could safely assume it's about 50%. So you have about a 50% loss just because of the angle of that sun. So that's very, very important to realize when you're looking at your system. Now, this is going to play a role into our next video where we're making a decision about how we're going to back up our power here. And that's coming up next on our next video. Remember, we have about 40 panels. Now, in all transparency, about 30 of those panels are actually functioning. These here that you see on the ground are here because I'm going to be mounting them probably in a ground mount system where it's a little more adjustable. And it's got to do with this next topic that I'm going to talk to you about. Okay, that gets to our next subject matter. We know the difference between summer and winter. That's important. But I want to talk to you about something else more practical. What angle do you put these at, and what does it mean? And based on your location, where do you put the panels? But I wanted to show you some of the apps we use. Some of them actually are already probably on your phone. So we want to know, essentially, what angle do we put our panels at what time of the year. Now, if you don't have an adjustable ground mount system where you can adjust that, which is really good to have, then you pretty much got to put it at a fixed location. So, well, how do you figure that out? Well, there's an easy rule of thumb. Based on your latitude determines the angle of your panels. So here's what I mean. We're at 35 degrees latitude. You put the panels at a 35-degree angle. And I'm going to show you a couple of the apps. The apps are on our iPhone already to figure some of this out. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But based on that, it is a 35-degree angle. Now, what do you do in the winter? Let's say you have an adjustable thing. 35 degrees is the all year round angle based on your latitude. So if you're in New York, for example, New York has a 40-degree latitude. You're going to put the panels at 40 degrees. Miami, 27 degrees latitude. You're going to put the panels at 27 degrees. That means you're going to angle it back a little bit. New York's going to be angled a little more. That's if you're permanently mounting them on a fixed base, on the roof, something like that, where you're not going to adjust them. If you're going to adjust them, what are you going to do? Well, in the winter like this, we're going to adjust them based on adding to that number. So for example, in the winter, and on this day, the winter solstice, the least angle of the sun, we're going to add 15 degrees. Therefore, this panel, which it is set up right now, is at 50 degrees. That's 50 degrees. That means that angle is going to be more tilted to get a better angle against that low sun, okay? In the summer, it's the opposite. You're going to decrease the angle by 15 degrees. So instead of being 35, you're going to go to 20. So I brought up the compass app here and take a look. Okay, so what we have in the compass map, you'll see, this is just the app in the iPhone. You probably have the same one. You'll see here, just below that degree number of our directional heading, we have the latitude line. 35 degrees latitude. That's the number we're looking at right now for your all year round angle of your panels. So 35 degrees, you don't have to be that exact. Obviously it changes every day, the angle of the sun, so it doesn't have to be exact, but that's 35 degrees. Now I'm going to take you and show you the other app that you already probably have on your phone, on the iPhone, and that's the Measure app. Okay. So the Measure app, really simple. It determines angle. So at 35 degrees, that's got to be the angle of our panel. So I've set up this panel right here for the winter, where it's supposed to be for this day in the winter. And if you look here, and it's going to be close, we just take our phone, put it down on there, and we're roughly 49 to 50 degrees, and that's the proper angle for the winter. Now I want to show you something really interesting. Let's look at the difference here, over here in this panel. I did this one over here. Look at how flat this angle is. This is the summer angle of the panel, 20 degrees. That is a 20-degree angle. Look at the difference between the summer and look at the difference between the winter. Those two are the differences. And I just use the apps that are already on the phone. So, which works great. So I think that's really, really awesome. Okay, so this panel is set up for year round. 35 degrees is the angle of this. I set it up a little earlier, and that's pretty much standard. Now, the roof, and this is something you're gonna have to figure out if you're putting it on a roof. I think this is kind of important. You're gonna have to determine the pitch of the roof, okay, for the angle percentage. Okay, so when we determine our pitch on this roof. Now, obviously you have aesthetics and stuff involved, but to give you an idea of that sort of thing, you could design your house with that pitch in mind if you're going to roof mount your system based on your latitude. So you really would have wanted all these panels at about 35 degrees if it's fixed mounted where it's not going to be adjustable. So the idea is, well, what type of pitch? And I don't know if you're familiar with figuring out roof pitch, but typically it's the rise on the run. So basically, how much rise you get over a run. So an 8-12 pitch would be 8 inches of rise over a 12-inch run. 12 inches by 8, that determines your angle. Really simple. We have here 2 pitches on our roof. We have an 8-12 and we have essentially a 4-12 pitch roof. Now, how did I figure the angle? Honestly, used AI, really simple. Asked AI, ChatGPT told me exactly what the angles are. Ultimately, our 412 roof means that those panels are actually at 20 degrees. So the 30 panels that we have up there are at 20 degrees. What does that tell us? Well, obviously, that's only good for summer use. That's exactly where they need to be for the summer. Therefore, in the winter, we're going to have a dramatically diminished amount of solar radiation hitting those panels. So that is not as good, obviously, if it was on a system where we could pitch it back and forth on a ground mount system, we could adjust it. But, you know, you had to pick something. The upper one, the 8-12 pitch, is a bit better. If we would have put them all up there, that's about a 36 degrees angle. If we would have been able to put all 30 or 40 panels up there, that would have been a perfect place to put it, but we don't have the room. We can only fit literally about 10 panels up there. So we're probably not going to do that anyway, because it's just not enough, and it's still limiting. So we're going to ground mount them. Anyway, enough about that. I don't want to get into what we're doing. I want you to just have a good understanding of the way this works. Now, we also used a couple of other apps, which I think is kind of cool. I want to show you this app that I think is really good, that really helped us understand where the sun is located in the sky. And that is going to be Sunseeker. But Sunseeker is great because you can get an actual 3D view of where the sun is during what times of year. Great understanding, particularly when you're talking about trees and you're looking at other buildings or something like that, and you want to know, where is the sun in the summer versus in the winter? Is this tree going to be a problem? Obviously, the winter doesn't matter as much because the leaves are off, but Sunseeker really helps you understand placement of your property, your roof, placement of even your ground mount system, or what it looks like. So let me show you that. All right, guys, I've opened up here the Sunseeker app, and there's a couple of different things. I don't know a whole lot about it, but ultimately you can set the date, but you don't really want to use that. You don't really need to. This is just it's kind of like a compass, tells you your direction, and then kind of the overhead view you can see going left to right, 7 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. Obviously, the sun's going to be in the sky. And right now, as I said, it's about 10 a.m. and you'll see the sun faced there. And obviously, we have some clouds coming in. But I want to show you the 3D view, which is really cool. So you get the 3D view, and you could go up. You could see the bottom line, the movement of the sun through the sky, through the times. Okay, where it is now, as you can see, which is great time to video it. So you could see it. This is the winter. This here is in September. And here you see it is in the summer. This is going to be in June, I think it is, yes. So obviously it's picking June because June 21st. And it shows you the track in the sky of where the sun is going to be. Obviously, if you have a tree in the way or something like that, you can see that is. So this is Sunseeker. It works really, really good. Okay, so that was a Sunseeker app. Now, they didn't sponsor this or anything like that, but I wanted to show you a good app that works. So what we have here is those 3 apps alone: the Compass app on iPhone, the Measure app on iPhone, and the Sunseeker app you can get. And those 3 right there is enough that you can place your panels in the right location for the summer, the winter, and as I said, you can just permanently mount it in a fixed location, and that will work. So I hope this was useful to you. It has been to me, but up until today, I didn't know the difference. So again, to recap, 50% difference between winter and summer. So anyway, I want to thank you for joining us. Remember to like and subscribe and add your comments below. I follow them and I really do appreciate them. They really do help. And remember the next video that's coming up, and that's going to be our decision for our backup power. Right now we turned the generator off. We had a generator run this whole time, and we did come to a conclusion, and I want to share that with you next. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining us, and God bless you.